election tonight. Hello, America. There was a report out this week that only 22% of 8th graders passed a basic civics test in the country. The conclusion, millions of young Americans will be unprepared to be informed and engaged, that a healthy citizenry, a healthy democracy requires. When the news last Sunday came out of UBL's death, the number 5 search on Google was, who's that? 25% of all searches overall for UBL came from those under 24. That means kids growing up today don't know who the most wanted man in the world is. You should have seen some of the searches. They were, why did they kill him and why does it matter? What did he ever do to anyone? You want to know what they do know? Global warming. A new Yale study says 57% of teens understand that global warming is caused mostly by humans' activities. Is it really now? We also have 2 Girl Scouts in Michigan leading a campaign against their organization's cookies, saying the heavy use of palm oil contributes to destroying the rainforest and killing endangered species like orangutans. Keep killing the orangutans, the cookies are yummy. So, they have 57,000 signatures. But out in California, groups of teens are now suing the government for not protecting the earth. And they're planning marches across the globe. They wrote on their website, "Our climate, our future, our revolution." They say, quote, "Youth have the moral authority and the legal right, as the generation most affected by the climate crisis, to demand that our government protect the atmosphere for our future," end quote. I showed you yesterday at Tucson School, in a Tucson school board meeting. It got out of hand. The kids chained themselves to desks, pounding their fists. The meeting was rescheduled. The situation the second time turned out so ugly that riot police had to be called in. This all over a cancellation of Mexican-American Studies class. That class is teaching kids to overthrow the United States government and take states back for Mexico. A school used to be a place to learn, not just history, science, math, but also discipline and respect for authority. Our educational system has put social justice and political correctness above our education, and our children are not only being shortchanged, they're being turned into, I think, slaves eventually. Take a listen to the complaints about our educational system. These are just some of them. Education policies are written by politicians and special interest groups. Eliminate teachers' tenure. Eliminate teachers' last hired, first fired policy. There's bias and distortion in textbooks. Teachers' unions are just powerful political machines. Frustration with the political activity of the NEA. They're removing God and the Bible out of schools and replacing him or it with intellectual neutrality. There are no morals taught in schools. Huge retirement packages, people say. The teachers' pensions are a problem. Not allowing children to fail in our schools. Board of Education is controlling what they teach and when they teach it. And schools have become too politically correct. This is a group of complaints not from parents, but from teachers. The complaint directly from teachers. Brave teachers sitting in the audience tonight. This is an audience tonight made up of teachers. First of all, how many are in a union? How many are comfortable saying that you're in a union on television? Okay, I mean on this show, because I mean everything you say, you're toast. Just get everybody's name and phone number down. If their car explodes, we'll know it's because of the show. I wanted to talk to you, and normally we don't have this much dialogue with the audience, but you are a group of people that I've been wanting to talk to, because we just had a woman talk to us. We have her on next week, I believe. She is a liberal Democrat. I'm sure she disagrees with almost everything that I say on this program, but she went to look into what was going on in Tucson, where they are teaching the overthrow of the government. And she was horrified by what she found. And she said, this is completely out of control. And I think if people don't start waking up, if teachers don't start speaking out or gathering together in other groups besides their unions, we're going to lose quickly here. Anybody else feel that way? Kathleen, why do you feel that way?
I'm not currently teaching. I'm a former teacher, but I'm now a homeschooling mom because the problems with public education have just become, to me, something that teachers have to constantly battle. You're not allowed to teach. Academics, subjects have been kind of pushed aside because of the political agenda and things these groups have. Parents, unfortunately, have very little understanding of what's actually going on a day-to-day basis, and it's kind of, we need to get together and say enough's enough.
Who here thinks a good deal of the problems lie with the parents? Okay, you in the second row, why?
Parents are, where I teach, they're just non-existent. So when they come into us, they're very much, they're a product of their environment. And for us to try to change that, it's very, very difficult because they're not getting reinforcement anywhere else.
Anyway, yes, I can't see your name up in the, Christopher, yes, Christopher, go ahead.
I totally agree. I think, we're coming from a society where family values are not taught anymore, but the buck needs to stop with us in the schools. We can't make excuses. This is a reality.
See, I have to tell you, I think the parents a lot of times are at fault, but you know the fastest way to fix that?
Discipline in school.
Discipline in the school? Mm-hmm.
Educate them.
Educate them? Morals and values? What's the
What's gone in the school? It's all gone. I mean, we used to be able to teach, our country was based on God and the Bible. That's why they came over here, and religious freedoms. Then we ended up going, now we don't have that anymore. We can't tell kids that the 10 Commandments are here, thou shalt not steal, period.
Well, I think the best way to fix this, though, is to have a voucher system.
Great.
Oh, yeah, that would be fantastic.
I would love a voucher system.
And why?
Because I've been paying school taxes, and then I send my kids from nursery to 12, and I pay on top of it.
I'm talking about how to fix the parents. Why would it fix the parents?
Because if they choose to go to a certain school, it's the families and the students that actually want to be there to learn.
Yes.
I work at a charter school, and I see the difference.
Yeah.
The families want to be there. They choose to go there, and
look, here's the thing. I mean, I'm a recovering slug. I mean, I remember when I sobered up. Before I sobered up, I sent my kids off to school, and they're going to learn something. What are they teaching you that in that school? That kind of mentality. When I sobered up and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, I have a responsibility here. I remember going to the school, and it was second grade for my daughter, and I actually asked the teacher, do you have like a syllabus? And she said, no. And I said, well, could I get some of the textbooks? Because I just want to read, and I want to know where you are so I can help reinforce. And she actually looked at me, and she said, Mr. Beck, we've got it from here on. We're okay. We'll teach your daughter. And I said, excuse me, you work for me. I don't work for you. And I was shocked because I really thought the teacher would be happy to have somebody get their child all ready so I could read ahead and be reinforcing it at school. But parents, most parents, because we're all busy and everything else, we think, well, you got it. And that's why you guys talking amongst yourselves or talking in unions is not strong enough. There's a lot of parents out there now, like me, that don't know. Until you guys came here, I didn't know we could get this many teachers who are currently in a union to show up. I really didn't. We had no idea. Yes, sir.
Can I call you Glenn?
Yes, please. Call me Fred tonight.
What you did with your daughter was absolutely right. You should go in and demand a syllabus. Where I teach, I'm teaching 30 years, and I've been paid I don't know how many times to reinvent the wheel. And that's what I think the problem is. We have a curriculum, it's a thorough curriculum, but somebody somewhere comes up with a new idea, oh, we have to do it this way now. And it's a total waste of taxpayers' money. I'm a taxpayer too, and I see a lot of waste in the schools.
Of course.
And I don't know, somebody sitting somewhere coming up with these vocabulary terms and this jargon, and it's just a total waste of money. I was just at a workshop. We're doing curriculum mapping. I wrote the curriculum, well, half of it for my department about 2 years ago. Was paid to do it. And at the end of the seminar, the lady said, well, what did you think of this? And I said, I had the binder under my arm, this thick. I said, I wrote half of that 2 years ago. I said, this is all redundant. And it just annoys me because I'm a taxpayer too. And I see the waste.
So you guys are...
I see the waste.
You guys are in a job where I think you have to be frustrated. I feel bad for teachers. Not all teachers. We have teachers who are up there saying, this is how you teach Marxism, this is how you teach communism. And I know that all teachers are not alike. I know just because you're in a union doesn't mean you're a bum or a Marxist. I think a lot of it comes from the very top. And most people deny that it even is at the top, and they say, well, no, but we're not like that. And you guys are sitting here with the union pressures on the top, the political pressures over here, the pressures from out-of-control parents. You guys are in an impossible situation. Impossible situation. Joe.
You know, we're operating under something called No Child Left Behind now. I don't know how you achieve that with vouchers when you skim off the parents who care, and that's great. Everybody wants parents who care. What about the core that's left behind?
You know
what do you do with that? The problem, Glenn, with Philadelphia and Baltimore is not the schools. The problem is Philadelphia and Baltimore. It's a cultural breakdown. I think we're attacking the wrong problem. And with vouchers, we're already having funding cut in public schools. I don't know how we make this magic work anymore. And now you're going to take some more of it and take it away.
Well, I tell you, Philadelphia and Baltimore, I lived in Philadelphia. I don't know how you solve Philadelphia, because that is a cultural problem. It is a complete meltdown. And you're exactly right. But just the name, No Child Left Behind, is such bullcrap, I don't even know what to do. I mean, no child left behind. I mean, help me out on that. I'm sorry, not physically. We care for people. We take care of people that can't take care of themselves. But you know what? Hey, you got Fs. You flunk. You're doing it over again. No child left behind. We are slowing our children down for the group. In collective salvation, it doesn't work. Josh,
I think that's exactly right, Glenn. I think one of the issues that we have is we're working, when you said about teacher frustration, regardless of political affiliation, I know it's hard for me to think of a teacher that loves going to their job on a daily basis because of all the stress and the pressure and all these other. But we're operating on a system that, 30, 40 years ago, maybe you could have gotten away with because parents were more involved. But I think now you have a situation where it's a conveyor belt operation where you send your kid to school in first grade and they go to school 180 days and they move to second grade. Regardless of how much they've achieved or the mastery or proficiency, that's not the constant. The constant is the time. The learning is not there. And so until we address that as a system, I don't see how we're going to change.
How many people here think that you are only preparing for a test all the time? I mean, kind of?
Sometimes.
I mean, the testing, to me, it's part of No Child Left Behind. The testing is an absolute nightmare. I mean, I don't care, honestly, and I know that, I know I'm not a teacher, and I'm not responsible for anybody to get a diploma or have a successful life at the end of this, journey that I'm on. But I could care less. I couldn't care less about the dates that a war happened. Who cares? Tell the story. And you can't test that. All the tests seem to be dates. What difference? It's almost like it's intentionally being written to have kids go, I hate history. Right? Yes.
With the testing, you're replacing civics. The reason why kids don't know any civics, nobody teaches it. Because you have to teach reading and math. Reading and math. I was at a school, we had 36 business teachers because everything was in business, whether it was entrepreneurship, business law. Now there's one. So everything's being removed, all the subjects, less vocational education because of it's math and reading because of the testing. It's testing.
I happen to know the chairman of the board of the Wharton School of Business. You know the number one problem they have at the Wharton School of Business? They got lots of people that want to go there. Anybody know? They cannot get the students at Wharton to answer the question, why would this be wrong to do? Ethics. They say, they'll say, is this wrong? And the students will say, well, did they make money? Yes. Well, then it's good. And there's no ethics. And the schools, and it's not just Wharton, it's all of them across the board. There's no right and wrong anymore. Can you, as teachers, teach right and wrong? You try. How? Yes. Let me go up here there. Go ahead, Chris.
One of the reasons why I think is because when you're talking about like shaping policy and school reform, the teachers really don't seem to have much of a say in shaping the policy and school reform. So when you have people outside the field making the decisions, it's like hard to connect everything up because who's
making the decisions?
The politicians. People outside the field. The teachers really don't have a voice. They're not getting to say the things that we need to, focus on in terms of policy reform.
So what would be what would you say is the biggest thing that, if anybody had a grand unifying theory here to fix it, what would it be? Yes.
I think it all comes down to it's not an education problem. I think it's a values problem. Excellent teachers create excellent students. I'm a union person, but I believe that the unions have drastically delinquished the quality of excellent teachers. How could you expect students to demand excellence from themselves when we demand mediocrity from our teachers?
See, I don't think you do. See, here's my problem. Here's my problem with, hang on, Laura, and then I'll go to you, because you disagree, and I do too with that, and I see if it's the same thing. I don't think that it's that, I've met a lot of great teachers, but I've also had a 4th grade teacher for my oldest daughter she came back and she actually said, Dad, this was made by Japs. And I said, excuse me? And she said, this was made in Japan. They're an enemy of ours. And I said, what are you talking about? And she said, well, my teacher, we were learning about World War II, and she said that even though we won, they're still not friendly, et cetera, et cetera. I went to the principal and I said, do we have somebody stuck in 1941? And this person was tenured, and they couldn't get rid of her. And it was a nightmare. I don't think you have, I've met a lot of great teachers. The problem is those great teachers have to drag along all the bad teachers. Laura, we're going to go to you next. Hang on, I have to take a break.